Okay, welcome to our successions. Just to give you a brief introduction, we are organizing the successions every month, at the moment only in Dutch. And as we're getting more and more international customers, we wanted to try out this webinar in English. So this is actually our first time, so we hope it's going to be very valuable to you. If you want to use Twitter to communicate with us, you can do so by using @SEOshop. I've got a couple of notes just to start off. On your right hand side you will see a panel, and this panel can be used to ask any questions. There should be a tab called questions, so go ahead and ask us anything and we'll answer your questions at the end of this webinar. Obviously we'll also share our presentation with you afterwards, and we'll do so tomorrow morning. So keep an eye on your mailbox, because we'll be sending out an email to you guys. So you can actually, if you miss anything, you can just read it back or see it. So to give a brief introduction of the people who are going to speak today, my name is Bertram Melink and I'm the marketing manager at SEOshop. And today I'm going to host this webinar together with my colleague Branko Jovanovic, who is an international content marketeer. He's actually going to cover our back office, so he's going to give a bit of a tour around our back office and will demonstrate the most important features, and I'm going to cover all the marketing features, all the marketing channels that you should be using. So we're going to start with the back office, so I'm going to pass it on to Branko.
Yes, thank you, Bertram. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, thank you. So what I'm going to do basically today is give you a brief tour through the back office, show you the most important features, and let's start off with the basic functions. In the top you have the green plus. As you might know, you can basically add any option in the back office with this icon, and on the left column bar you have all your options, all your subjects in the back office. So we're going to start with making a product, of course, because you want your web shop to be filled with products. And we already made some test products. If you want to make your own product again, you can just do so by using the green plus. So let me click on this product right here. As you can see, we see a lot of drop-down menus, for example the brand, supplier type, product options. All of these, except for the delivery time, which we'll come back to later, can be made in the left menu right here. As you can see, brand, under brands, suppliers, as you can see, comes back here as well. Delivery time, the only exemption, and you can make this under general settings, which is right here. Another important thing is the prices in stock. So we'll click on this. You can adjust your pricing, of course, which will be shown in the web shop. You can also include the tax percentage. In the Netherlands it's currently 21%. For Germany this will be 19%. And you can also adjust the weight, but I will come back to that later as well. This is also done under the general settings. And you can also add product options. Talking about price and stock, you can make different product options for your products, which is done under catalog product options. So again, you can use the green plus as always to make a new product option, give it a name. We already made one right here. As you can see, the product option is used to make different type of categories for products. So you can see we have the size and we have the color as well. And the important thing here, the important thing here is to note that you have a certain type of product variant, a product limit in your package. For example, if you have a package, an M package with SEOshop, you will have a limit of 250 product variances you can use. When you make a product option set, and you actually start making these options. So for example, I have the size, 5 different variables here, and the color, 2 different variables. We multiply those two, so 5 times 2 is 10 product variances in total. You can make 10 different variances with these, and these will be subtracted from your product package. So if you have, such as here, 10 different variances, you will only have 240 product variances left that you can make. What is important to note as well is that the product option set will be subtracted from its own stock. So you create the own stock. If a customer, for example, would order a size 8 blue t-shirt, the stock will be exactly subtracted from size 8 blue. So you have a really good overview, clear overview of which product will be subtracted and where. Apart from a product option, you can basically do the same with a custom field, which we select here. You can also make one by clicking on the green plus, giving it a name as well. If we click on it, again, we already made one for test purposes, and we click on, let me take this here, yeah. Click on fields. You see again we have size and colors. We won't go into too deep on that. The difference with the custom field is if you make different types of options, it won't be subtracted from your package. So if you have 250 products, you can make as many custom field sets as you want, but it won't be subtracted from that package. So you don't have that problem which you do have with the product options. But the difference is, however, that the custom field set doesn't have its own stock. So if your customer orders a size 8 blue t-shirt again and you use a custom field set, then in this case the product will just be subtracted from the general stock. So you won't see the differences in your product management, in your stock management in the back office. Another important thing to note is when we go back to the products where you can actually see and adjust these options. So when we go to the test product, you can use, you can set up product options here. You can choose them. As you can see, this is the test one we saw, and the custom fields, you have them right here. When you click on the green plus, you can select them here, the ones that you made. So this is the test that we saw before. And if you want to make a new custom field, you can do that by clicking here at the product tab as well. But it's important to note that if you make a custom field while in a product tab, the custom field will be only applicable for that product. And if you made the custom field like we did back here in the left tab, you can use that custom field for each product in your shop. You can use it as many times as you want. So when you have your product set up, it's of course obviously important to actually put them in your shop under categories so that people can actually find those products. And we have 3 types of categories that you can use in the and make in the back office. We have a product category, which has a maximum of 3 subcategories, as you can see, first, second, and third. We have an index category, which has no limit on the subcategories you can make. And we also have a text page or a text category, which is just for adjusting plain text. Now this might sound a bit confusing, so I will show you in our actual test store what the differences between these categories are. So this was the close option, the product option. If I click on that, we'll be directly directed to the actual product. So as you can see, if I click on this, we will actually be directed to the product. The difference with the index category is that if we click on it, you will be directed to another subcategory of other products. So with the product category, you get related directly to the product. And if I would click here, then in the subcategory, I will see products here as well. So it's basically an extra layer you can add if you would like that. Sometimes it would be more convenient for your customers. The third variant is just, like I said, a plain text page about us. It's handy for contact information. And yeah, that basically covers our category options. So if we return to the back office, and if you have all your categories and products set up, you want to start shipping, of course, you want to adjust your shipping methods. So we will go under settings, And when we are on the settings, we'll go to shipping methods. As you can see, I already made a few here as well. You can make a new one again by clicking on the green plus. And I made one for Great Britain and for the Netherlands. So we will go, we'll take a look at this one for Great Britain. A few important things here. The for free above tab, this is all speaks for itself. You can adjust the tax and the delivery cost. One important thing here, make sure that the for free above field is set to a really high number. If you would, for example, set this to 0, so if we would set it to 0, it would mean that each product in your web shop would actually be shipped for free above 0. So if you don't want your products to be shipped for free, just keep this number at a really high number, much higher price than any product in your web shop, to make sure that none of your products actually get shipped for free. When we go to the tab countries, it's important to select each country that this shipping method that you created applied for. So as I said, this one is for the United Kingdom, for Great Britain, and that's why I only selected that country. So make sure that you don't have any country selected here for which the shipping method is not meant to be, because then you will have conflicts with shipping in your back office. So when we go to the third tab, like I said before, the weight is important that you make this class a really high number as well, because if a customer would order a product in your shop which is actually 5 kilograms, for example, and your class limit is 0 to 3 kilograms, this means that the product is too heavy for your weight class, so your customer won't be able to select a shipping method in the checkout. So make sure that this number is a really high number as well, so that all of your products will actually fit in that category, and a customer would always be able to select that his shipping method in your checkout. So again, the 3 important things when it comes to editing shipping methods: make sure that this number is really high for free above. The countries, make sure that you only select the countries to which this shipping method actually applies. And when it comes to weight, make sure that all of your products in your web shop fall into your weight category, your weight class. Okay, so when you actually set up your shipping method as well, you of course want to be found on the internet on search machines such as Google. So you're going to adjust some of your meta tags. You want to be found. Meta tags are really important for big search engines such as Google. So I'm going to show you a few things when it comes to SEO, search engine optimization, and meta tags. So first off, you have the general product tab, which we already saw at the beginning of the store, and you also have the SEO tab. We will start with the SEO tab. The title for the SEO tab, basically everything you fill in the SEO tab is used for search engine optimization. So this data you will fill in here will be used for search engines. So if a customer would search for your shop, make sure that this data will relate to that, so that your customer can actually find it. And on the general tab, this data is basically only used in your web shop, so that people would, for example, see a product when they are already on your website. They would actually see the description of the product, the title of the actual product. So it's not used for search engines. For the SEO tab, the title is basically what makes the link. So if you search on Google, you'll probably always see the blue title on top of the search result. That is basically what you type in here. The description is what comes beneath that, so a few sentences that actually describe your shop. Make sure you always use sentences here. Don't use loose keywords, because this is first off not good for the search engine, and second off search engine optimization, and second off it's also not nice to read. So a customer just wants to see a few good sentences that clearly, thoroughly describe your shop. And you can of course use some of the keywords that describe your shop best, but make sure to use them in a sentence. And the keywords under here, just make sure that those are actual separate keywords and don't make sentences here. So keep that in mind. Use sentences in the description and just use the keywords that actually describe your shop best. You can get those by asking your family, for example, or your friends how they see your shop. Just ask them to name a few words and put those in keywords. And under the general tab, it's when you leave the SEO tab blank. So when we go back here, when you just leave it like this, no text inputted, the information under general will actually be used for the search engines. So when you don't put in anything on the SEO, what will be put in these fields, it will be also used on your webshop, will also be used for the search engine optimization. So when we continue with the categories, and you can also use SEO here. If I could show you, just going into this product category, you can actually see all the data here as well. The difference with the products is that on the products it's divided between two tabs, so there's SEO and general. Here basically these fields are put together, so you see the meta title, the meta description, and the title from your web shop. So that's the basic difference. The rules stay the same, so description, use sentences, keywords, just use the loose keywords. And another, last but not least, certainly important part is the tags. As you can see, tags are used in web shops to describe products, to describe what you are offering. And you can make them by clicking on the green plus and just put in the title of your tag. You can apply them to all the products that you want in your web shop. Make sure that they tag, there are two basic rules, general rules when it comes to tags. Make sure that they are not too short. So as you can see, black bandana with flowers. Don't make it black bandana just, or even just bandana. Make sure that you describe it a bit. But on the other side, don't make them too specific. Keep in mind that customers want to search, might only use a few words. They won't use a too specific sentence. So make sure that you have a good combination, a good balance between those two. When we go to design, when you have set up all your products and your tags, your webshop is SEO optimized, but people might not be able to actually, or they might be able to find your webshop, but your webshop still needs to look good for the eye, of course. So when we go into settings, general design settings, this is what you'll basically see. This is different for each theme that you install. You will see all these settings. You can adjust colors, you can adjust you can put in a banner, you can upload some of your own pictures and own banners and headers to use for your web shop. And for those of you that are actually familiar with HTML and CSS, we also have our template editor, which you can get in by clicking on template editor. We already activated it. If you didn't activate it, you will get a warning message, and I, SEOshop, would highly advise not to use the template editor if you don't have the basic knowledge of HTML or CSS, because it can really ruin your web shop. If you mess up one code, maybe your whole web shop could become a blank page, and visitors won't be able to buy anything, to even click on anything in your shop. Now, if you do have knowledge of HTML, CSS, you really want to start using the template editor, you need to know that you won't receive any updates on your theme that you installed as soon as you activate your template editor. So one example of this is when SEOshop introduced the blog function. And I need to say with this that you do get the update for your back office, but you don't get it for your theme. So when we introduced the blog function, people would start using it by going to options on the service blogs. They would start creating blogs, and they would wonder, why can I make the blog in the back office but it doesn't show up in my web shop? Well, this is because you activated the template editor and you won't be able to see those changes automatically in your web shop. So if you want, we can always give you, when we release such new functions, we always put in the HTML code as well. So you can paste in the update, for example, the blog function, into the template editor yourself. But if you don't know how to do this, just don't start using a template editor. Our teams are worth it to use them by themselves. You don't need to edit them if you don't have the knowledge of it. What you can do, however, if you have knowledge of CSS and you don't want to affect the source code, you can go on the general settings again, click on the tab custom CSS. You see a lot of codes here. You won't have these codes when you just start using the CSS. We put them in ourselves here. The custom CSS basically puts a layer on your theme, on your web shop's design, so you can change the whole design of your web shop, but you won't change the source code. So if you activate custom CSS and you would delete all of these codes, your basic theme would still exist, so your web shop would still fully function. And if you activate the custom CSS and just start working with it, you will actually also continue to receive updates to your theme. So you won't have the problem that you have with the template editor of not receiving any updates with the custom CSS. Another thing that's worth noting, and it's especially important if you install a new theme, all the settings under general when you install a new theme will be actually reset. So make sure you back up all these things if you really need them. Make sure you back them up before you install a new theme. And that brings us to the actual selling. So if you have your webshop set up, you have all your products ready for selling, you have a nice design, and you might have received some of your first orders, you can have full control of that from out of your back office. So if you click on a order, these are some test orders of course, you will get this whole menu. So as you can see, awaiting shipment, the amount of money that needs to be paid is also displayed, and you can also see if the product has been shipped or not right here. You can see the actual products that have been bought and all the information. You can create a credit memo as well if you want under here. You can see the actual delivery cost, selling cost, and the billing address and shipping address as well. So when a customer, for example, would like to create a return, he might not be satisfied with the product, or there's another reason for sending it back, you can do so by clicking here. You can also fill in a return reason or a return action, and I will show you where you can do that. Go under returns, under sales, and you see the tabs return reasons or return actions. You can make them by clicking on the green plus again, and they will show up in the order as well. So now that your customers have received an order or placed an order, you want them to be informed, of course, or when they make a new account, you can do so by sending them emails. The important thing is that you, few important things here to make note of. If you see these emails, we have a few of our keys here. As you can see, first name, middle name, last name. If you put those in your automated emails, they will actually be replaced by the customer information. So the last name that he put in will be automatically replaced, and that's why you can send automated emails to basically all of your customers. Another important thing is when you leave all of these fields blank, so when you delete all of this, delete the title, just leave it completely blank, the email won't be sent. This is a new feature we just recently added, and that means that you can leave fields or leave entire email templates blank if you don't want them to be sent, if you think it might be too much, or yeah, you can do so by doing that. And when we go back to, if a customer makes a account, so the last name, it's important to make sure when we go under countries, As you can see this warning here, please note that if no countries are selected, orders will be accepted from any country. So when it comes to customers that make an account on your webshop, make sure that you select at least the countries that you are sure of that you can ship to, for which you create shipping methods, because if you wouldn't select any of these, the back office, the system would register it like that everyone from each country can make an account on your shop, can actually leave their addresses, their details, while you might not even be able to ship to Finland, for example. So a customer would be really disappointed. A Finnish customer might have made an account in your shop and he won't be able to receive or order anything because you made the mistake of not filling in these countries. So make sure that you always fill in the countries here that you actually can ship to, so that customers won't be disappointed and won't have any negative experiences. So that is basically the last part of this quick basic tour through our back office, which covered the main functions, the basic functions, to hopefully get you started with our back office. Bertram, I will give the microphone back to you, and you will tell us some more about some tips.
Great, thank you very much. So it means I'm going to cover the marketing tips for today. Thank you, Wanko, for this introduction. Okay. So just to start off with a short introduction on myself. So my name is Bertram Melink. I graduated in 2005 in the Netherlands. And after that, when I was looking for a job, I got a job in Dublin, in Google, where I worked for about a year, and stayed in Dublin and worked for Yahoo for a while. In the end, I returned to the Netherlands and worked for one of the bigger packaging companies in the Netherlands called Topa Verpakking. And in the end, I still actually missed the online world and got in touch with the CEO of SEOshop, Ruud Stelde. And that's about 2.5 years ago. And obviously I joined SEOshop and became the marketing manager. So that's a little introduction about me. So today I'm going to cover, as I said, the marketing activities. And I call my presentation Marketing Activities That You May Not Have Thought Of. I think that consists of two elements. One is online marketing, one is offline marketing. And online marketing is actually, for most online retailers, probably the most important part, and a part that most retailers find tricky to deal with. I would like to learn most about. So that part is actually going to be the longer part. However, there's still a number of online retailers who kind of forget the offline channels. And that's why I also included a couple of slides on the offline channels that are very important. It's a lot shorter than the online marketing part. So I'm going to start with online marketing. And I actually have a little poll because I'm very curious to see who is currently using forums for his or her web shop. So let me see if I can get those, pull this forward. Let me see. There we go. And so the first poll is about forums. And there you go. So who of you are using forums for your online store? Maybe to get information about any topics related to online marketing. Maybe to find customers. I see that some of you are already voting, so that's good to see. Great. Still a number of votes coming in. Okay, that means I'm gonna close it now and show you the results. So as you can see, more than 90% of you guys are not using forums. So I guess that's interesting to kind of cover quickly. Because usually forums are considered a bit old-fashioned, a bit 2003 instead of 2015, 14. But forums can actually be very good for you as an online marketeer or an online retailer, especially because these are the places where your customers can hang out to find information about your products. To give you an example, the other day we had a customer that was selling motorbike articles, and he was a Dutch customer actually, and he was very active on one of the Dutch forums called motorbike.nl. He actually found a lot of his customers there. So he started to kind of become involved in the community, started answering questions from people that were on the forum. And by doing that, he became the expert in the field. So it meant that people were actually coming to his online store to find the products. And that's actually going so well that now he's getting about 30% of his customers from this forum. So on this page, I'm actually listing the forums that are very, very popular internationally. But obviously there are also a number of forums that are not so popular and that may be more specific to your product. So it could be interesting to find those forums. And the best way to do that is just to type it in Google. So type in forum and then the product that you're selling. And that should give you a list of the interesting forums for your product. Then obviously there are also a number of forums that are interesting for online merchants specifically. So let's say that you have questions about how to start your online store, or maybe some legal things that you would like to know more of. Then it's definitely worth to check out these 3 forums that you find here on the right hand side. The biggest one is Online Merchant Forum, the second Power Seller Unite, and obviously we also have our own forum where you can talk to other SEOshop customers, and you can find that on webwinkelsoftware.com/forum. I think I already said it, but we're going to share these slides as well with all of you, so don't worry if things are going a bit too fast. We're going to record this session and it's going to be posted on our site, so for sure you can check it out again. The next topic I would like to cover is blogs, and again I would like to know if you guys are using that as well. So there's another poll, and the question is, are you using that for your online store? Again, many people are voting. I'll just give you guys a few more seconds for those who are still interested in voting. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna close it. It's actually a close call because some of you are actually using it. 43% are using it, 57% are not. So that's quite interesting. So for those who are not using it, the reason to use a blog is to actually give a face to your online store. I mean, you can imagine that if you have an offline location, obviously you have more contact with your customers. They can see who you are, so you kind of build trust and show your face. In an online store, that's a lot harder, and that's why many people are using blogs to kind of give like more of a sentiment to the online store. The other reason why many people are blogging is actually for link building. Sorry, not for link building, but for content marketing, for SEO purposes. So if you blog a lot and you do it regularly, then people can find your blog, and through your blog they can actually go to your online store. So it's definitely very important to blog, and it's getting more and more important as well. And so I did a bit of research, and I checked for some tips on how you should be blogging and what you should be doing on your blog. And I came to this website called goinswriter.com, and the person who was blogging on this blog gave a list of 20 items that you should consider, and I actually think that these 5 are definitely the most valuable one, because the first question that many people have is, what do I actually start to write about? And obviously that's a very difficult question, so the best way to start is to actually just ask your questions. Ask your customers. Ask them which issues they are facing, what they would like to know about your products, and you can use Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn to kind of get that information. Then when you have these topics, it's good to start with like a good catchy title to make it interesting for your customers to read. Think of subheadings and think of images, definitely. Because those things will make your blog post more attractive, and as you can probably imagine, most people will not immediately start to read all the blogs that they see. but they will actually scan it first and then check if they find it interesting, and then start reading the entire blog. So if you cover these three items, you'll make it a lot more. You make it a lot easier for customers to start reading it. The third point is actually very tricky for many people, and especially with people who want to sell their products. But it's really important that you're not too commercial on your blog. So your blog is not meant to promote your actions, your discounts, but instead it's very important to share your knowledge. So ask yourself, what are your customers looking for? What would they like to know from you? Like, which kind of knowledge do you have because of the product you're selling that they would like to know of? And you may not want to be too commercial, but obviously you do want to get something out of your blog, and you can do so by creating a good call to action. And this call to action can be, for instance, a sign up for your newsletter, or maybe you're trying to get more followers on Twitter or Facebook. So those things are definitely possible on your blog, and I would highly suggest that you incorporate that in your blog, because people will want to know more about you if your blog posts are very good. That was about blogging on your own site. Obviously, you can also blog on external sites, and reasons to do that are, first of all, it's a really great way to do link building. If you write on an external blog and you post a link in this blog post, a link to your online store, then it's really a good way of link building, because it's cheap. Most blogs will actually not charge you any money for a blog post, especially when it's very good. So I would definitely suggest trying that out as well. The second thing is that it gives you a way to get in touch with your audience. So you might blog on a blog that is being read by all your customers. So if you can manage to get on one of those, you can definitely reach out to new customers. And if you do that a lot, then you write really valuable content, you can actually become an expert, like the guy who was owning his like a or motorbike online store. So you can become an expert, and people actually go to your site because they want to know more about you. The next topic I want to cover is comparison sites. And again, I would like to know if any of you guys are using that as well. So there's another poll for you to answer. So are you using those for your online store? So are you promoting your products on comparison sites? This can be price comparison sites. A lot more people have voted, so that's very cool. Actually, it will be interesting to know, because I see that, I'll share the results. I see that 20% of you guys are actually using comparison sites. So maybe in the question sections, can you maybe add which sites you're using, because we'll be very interested to hear about that. But the reason to actually use comparison sites, especially when you just started, is that when people cannot find your online store yet, and you're using comparison sites, so you're using comparison sites to promote your products. So they may not actually find your online store, but they can already find your products. Like, for instance, if you're using Google Shopping and you export your products to Google Shopping, they can find it on Google Shopping immediately. So the good thing of Google Shopping is obviously that when someone searches for an article on Google, the Google Shopping results will get a really good position on Google itself. So definitely worth checking it out. Other big comparison sites are Amazon, obviously, and Nextag. The thing about those two is that we don't have an integration with those yet. We do have an integration with Google Shopping. So if you want to promote your products on Amazon and Nextag, you either have to do that yourself, or you have to use our custom feeds, which is a bit tricky because you need to have some technical skills for that as well. I just wanted to check if anyone replied to my question. Not yet. Okay. So I was wondering which comparison sites you are using, if you're using those. The next thing I want to cover is mini sites. And the best way to actually explain that is by showing an example. So I'm gonna pull up this site. It's an example in Dutch, but for this section it doesn't really matter because it's more about the concept than the text. And a mini site is basically a site that you put on a different domain name with a lot of information, but useful information and unique information. So I think Branko already covered this, but it's very important to write unique content. And when I say unique content, I mean that you don't copy content from your suppliers, for instance, or not from other websites, because Google actually doesn't like that. So they want you to kind of rewrite the text that you find somewhere else and make it your own. So that's what we did on this website as well. This is a website from my previous employer. And as you can see, when you check product information, there are a lot of sites that are in here. And these are all pages that were just written from scratch. And there are many pages like this. But there's actually one page with all the products that are here. And when I click on this, you will see that actually I will go to a different site, which is actually the actual online store of the company. And you will immediately go to those products that you can start buying. So the benefit is that in the case of topverpakking, the most important keyword is this keyword. And it's called verpakkingsmateriaal, which means packaging material. So basically this mini site is hosted on a domain name called packagingmaterial.com, in Dutch verpakkingsmateriaal.com. And Google will find that very interesting because there is the keyword in the URL. It's a website that contains unique information, so it's not copied. And because of this, it will actually rank this site very high. So when someone types in Google the keyword that you see here, this site will be the number 1, 2, or 3 in Google. And that's just by having a good domain name and making sure that you have valuable content, unique content. And because this site actually ranks really well, the site that it links to, which is the actual online store, is ranking a lot better for that keyword as well. So that's why mini sites are very, very useful, and it's definitely something that still really works well. Well, in the case of topverpakking, it's very easy to see the link between packaging material and the domain name that I showed. But what if you sell a product that is not so common, for instance wooden sunglasses? So if you would sell a product like that and you're looking for the right keywords, a really great tool to use, and it's actually a free tool, is the Keyword Planner, Google Keyword Planner. So it's a free tool, and it's useful because you can just type in a keyword that you think customers would type in when they search for your online store. And it basically returns all the keywords that Google itself finds very interesting. So if you would type in this case this was wooden sunglasses, it returns wooden frame sunglasses, wooden framed sunglasses, and a lot of other keywords that Google finds interesting. And the nice thing of this is that it immediately shows you the average searches per month, so you know how many times this keyword is being searched in your market on average. And you will see if there's a lot of competition, so if there are a lot of other sites that also try to rank really well for this keyword. So in the case of wooden frame sunglasses, the competition is very high, so this keyword will be very, very tricky. It would be very hard to rank my site for this specific keyword. But if I go to, for instance, this one, wooden sunglasses Australia, well, let's say that I have an online store in Australia, the searches may not be extremely high, but the competition is very, very low. So that means that I could rank really well for this keyword by just setting up maybe a mini site called woodensunglassesaustralia.com, if the domain would still be available. Another way to find out how you should optimize your site is by just checking Google. So type in the keywords that you find relevant for your online store, and just see how other people are doing this. So for instance, here you can see that there are a number of online stores that are using Google Shopping. So it's this part here. And another person here is using Google AdWords, here at the top, and here at the bottom. And then there are a number of customers, or a number of people who are trying to rank organically, so for the unpaid results. And you can see that here. So what is actually important to get a good ranking? Well, as I said, the search term is definitely important to include in your URL. If you're lucky, you can obviously use, in the case of verpakkingsmateriaal, you can use verpakkingsmateriaal.com, but it may not be available anymore, and you may just have, you may not even want to have a URL like this. For instance, if you have a name, like a brand name that you want to use and you want to promote, obviously you want to have your brandname.com or your brandname.de. So that's definitely possible as well. But then obviously you can have your brandname.de slash the keyword that you want to rank for, and you just write one page that's really optimized for that specific keyword. So that's obviously an important thing. What I should say here is that Google is trying to change its algorithm continuously, and that makes it really a lot harder to rank really well organically, so in the unpaid search results, which can be problematic obviously, because Google wants to kind of promote their AdWords campaigns as well. But if you keep in mind that you should kind of optimize your page for your visitors, so that means that you need to have unique content, you need to have valuable content, and that's why blogs are very important. If you keep that in mind, Google will definitely rank your site higher. So these are tips that still work despite all the updates that Google has done. So yeah, I will briefly cover those. So the search term in URL is very important. You should put your search term in your text, and it means that it should come back in your text. You should not try to over optimize your text. So that means that if you add the keyword more than 5% in a specific text, it's probably going to be already a little bit more spammy. So try to kind of keep it between 3 to 4% of your entire page. So if you write a page of 100 words, try to have your search term be repeated like 3 to 4 times max. Should add your search term in the title. Also think of your meta description, your meta title, and your meta keywords. It's good to have a domain name that's a little bit older. That's because Google also looks at the authority of the domain. Authority of the domain is kind of like a vague thing. Age is very important. There are a number of other things that Google keeps in mind as well when it looks at authority. But if you have a domain name that's already been around for like 5 years, then obviously your site will rank better than when you just bought a new domain. And that's actually why many online merchants are finding it very hard, especially in the beginning, to rank really well. Google basically takes its time to check the site and see if it really likes the content that you're posting over time. So that's the authority of the domain. And lastly, it's very important to have links from domains with a higher authority. So for instance, if the BBC ranks to or links to your site, it will be better than when like a site that's not really well known is linking to your site. So this is an example of how other sites are doing it. This is an online store that's trying to rank for wooden sunglasses. As you can see, it's in the title of this page, wooden sunglasses, and he put it in his meta description, meta keywords, meta title. It's interesting to see because he didn't actually optimize his URL for it, which kind of makes me think that he will have a lot of links going to his website that link with the keyword wooden sunglasses, and will probably link with that keyword to this site. So where do you find all those important links? Well, one site that's very important, that Google at least considers very important, is dmoz.org. It's free, so you can basically post your link there. You just need to find the right category to post it in. But it's definitely a really good site. The other thing you can do is to go to ahrefs.com, which is a website that allows you to type in the URL of maybe one of your competitors and check which sites are linking to that website. And then you can basically just contact those websites and see if maybe they want to link to your site as well. Then another thing that's very important is to actually measure the results of your online store. And I have another poll for this as well, because I would like to know if anyone is already using Google Analytics. The results are very good because I see that many people are already using it. That's good because it's actually a very important tool. Okay, I'm gonna close it. See that 92% of you guys are already using Google Analytics. So that's actually very, very good news. And I will tell you why it's so important to use it. So, in case you don't know, Google Analytics can basically show you where your customers are coming from, so which sites they used to find your online store. It also allows you to see which keywords they typed in. So that means that if you know which keywords they typed in to find your store and to buy your product, you will know which keywords to use in Google AdWords. So you will know on which keywords you should focus and which keywords you should spend money on, and also which keywords you should not spend money on in Google AdWords. So it's a very, very useful tool to see what's happening in your store, where people are coming from, and which campaigns actually work, which campaigns will actually give you sales. So I can definitely suggest, if you're not using it yet, to start using Google Analytics, and the best would be to actually use it in combination with webmaster tools, because together they will actually give you all the information you need. So if you want to know more about SEO and link building, there are 2 sites that basically cover all the tips and tricks that are really, really extensive. You'll find anything you can think of. It takes a bit of a read though, because it's a lot of information. But the sites are called webgnomes.org and pointblankseo.com. So if you're interested in those topics, or if you're interested in learning more about those topics, definitely have a look at those sites, and you'll find a lot of information. To summarize this one, so basically this is why we're doing it. The top 3 are getting most of the clicks of all the keyword searches, and as you can see at the bottom, people are not really clicking anymore. So it means that if you're on the second page, it's very, very unlikely that you will get many, many visitors. So optimizing your site, especially organically, so for the unpaid search results, is very important, because you will get most of your clicks. Then to kind of summarize this, I've got a few conversion optimization tips that I listed here. One is to add all your USPs, because people are really, really looking at that. Add your USPs to your online store, so people can immediately see why they should buy in your online store and why they shouldn't actually buy somewhere else. For instance, maybe you're using PayPal, which is a very popular payment method. Maybe you can deliver everything within 48 hours and your competitors cannot. Definitely mention those things in your online store, and definitely mention it on your homepage. Then it's also very important to list multiple payment methods. In the Netherlands, for instance, many people are using Ideal. But if you're not Dutch and your customers are not Dutch, you may not want to offer this alone. You may want to actually offer another couple of payment methods like PayPal or credit cards. So you give people the chance to actually choose their own payment method. Then showing people is very important in your online store. Those can be the people that work for your store, but it can also be models that are showing the products that you're selling. And the other day I actually read an article on Kissmetrics, which is a very important online marketing blog. And they were saying that customers can get up to 100% extra conversion by just showing people in the online store. So definitely something to look at, definitely something to think of. If you're not doing that yet, it can definitely boost your conversion in your online store. Then an example of one of our customers called Minty Fresh. They are using, they actually won an award, a design award, and they're showing that in the online store, which is really good for your conversion as well, because you're kind of showing that you know what you're doing, like you know your job. Obviously we also have certifications, like in Germany Trusted Shops is very important. Many German customers won't actually buy a product in your store if you cannot offer Trusted Shops. And yeah, so definitely also think of those certifications. Actually, just mentioned it already, Trusted Shops is a very important one. Also, Yotpo is an app that we're offering in our app store. And the benefit of Yotpo, that's with YOTPO. The benefit of Yotpo is that you can ask people to rate your products. So on your product pages, you can show what customers actually think of your products. And the cool thing of this service is that you can also ask people to share this on their social media channels. To end the conversion optimization tips, many people always ask, like, how should we, what color should our call to action buttons have? The buttons that basically ask you to buy a product. That's actually a very tricky one to answer, because it actually depends. Most customers of SEOshop will choose a green one or an orange one because they kind of stand out and have a really good connotation. However, there are also other colors to consider, depending on the product you sell, depending on the design that you are currently using in your online store. So this is like a summary of the colors that you could choose and the reason why you could choose them. So a site, and again it's a Dutch site, but a site that kind of does this really well is this website. They're showing people, so they show the people that are actually working for the company. They're using call to action buttons in a really good color. Everything is very white, so the call to action buttons kind of stand out. And they're using yellow buttons to show discounts. And they're using Trustpilot to ask people for reviews. So definitely a very good site, a good inspiration. If you want to know more about conversion optimization, we also have a white paper that you can download for free. And actually you can download all our white papers for free. And I'll show you the website where you can download those. So that's getSEOshop.com. And if you go to resources, then if you go to resources, there is actually a section called ebooks and white papers, which is here, and you can download all our white papers for free. So we have white papers about Google Analytics, call to action, conversion optimization, some tips for Google AdWords, actually a lot of things that can be useful for your online store. Okay, so those are all the online marketing channels. Then I quickly want to go through a few offline marketing channels, just a few slides. But especially when you want to start your online store, it can be very interesting to do a bit of PR. For instance, maybe you found a really interesting way of finding funding for your online store that blogs would want to know about. So a good way to approach this would be to make a list of interesting blogs, magazines, and newspapers. And there are a few resources where you can actually find all those magazines and newspapers. And the best one to use is actually Internet Public Library, and it lists all the magazines and newspapers around the world. So you can actually find them based on the country that you're active in. So it's smart to write down all the contact details, especially email addresses, of course. And then when you want to distribute your PR message, you can use those contact details, but you can also use a couple of free press release submission websites. And a good site that lists them all is this one here. So definitely write it down. I will actually visit it so you can see where to find those. So it's Avangate, and it basically lists like the 50 most important sites. Most of them are actually free. I think they're all free actually. So you can basically send your press release to those sites as well. Okay. Actually, one of our customers that did this really well is a customer called Colors, and they basically got funding for their online store through crowdfunding, and it was a really big Dutch marketing blog that thought this was very interesting, and they basically wrote an entire article about that, and the article got lots and lots of views, which is very good for the online store from the owner called Marijke Kramerbos. So that actually shows that even small online retailers can definitely reach out to the big online marketing blogs if they have a really interesting message to share. What you can also do is organize an event. This is another customer of ours called Beef and Steak, and they sell meat, like high quality meat. And every year they organize an event where they ask all their customers to use a barbecue and prepare this meat. And it's basically like a kind of like a bake-off. So it's a small competition, and obviously the best barbecue user will win a prize, and they get lots of PR coverage as well. So they do it every year, and everyone is always writing about this. So that's a really cool way to kind of reach out to lots of PR channels. Another thing you can do is support a charity organization, which will give your online store a really nice face as well. So definitely something to look at as well. Pop-up stores are becoming very, very popular as well. I listed a couple of sites where you can register for those pop-up stores. They're listed here. And basically a pop-up store is a store, like a physical location that is available for a short period of time. For instance, a week, maybe a day or a month. So the benefit is that you're not stuck on a long-term contract for an offline location, but you can basically just rent it for a couple of days. So that will be a lot cheaper, and it will give you a lot more flexibility. And it's a really great way to kind of promote your online store in a different way. So not just online, but also offline. Obviously, it's also smart to think of trade shows and marketplaces, two things that are very, very popular everywhere in Europe. Definitely something to look at. And also think of partnerships. I mean, big companies also work together. So why not try to work together with other online merchants? Maybe SEOshop customers, or maybe other online merchants that are selling a product that is not one of your competitors, but you can find online merchants that are selling something similar to you, or something that could kind of go together with your product. For instance, if you're selling trousers, maybe you want to work with someone who's selling belts, just to give an example. So you could do activities together, but you can also exchange databases and maybe do some email marketing together. So where do you find those? Well, you can use our forum, webwinkelsoftware.nl/forum, where you can find all the other SEOshop customers. LinkedIn groups are very popular. There are many LinkedIn groups where online merchants are discussing lots of stuff, lots of topics related to selling online. Twitter is a great way to reach out to other online merchants, and obviously you can also just Google a product that you think could be interesting and just basically just contact the online stores directly. Also, SEOshop is very interested in hearing interesting stories from all of you. So if you have a really great story to share, definitely reach out to us. That's something that one of our customers did as well, SEOshop, and we basically cover a lot of our online stores in blog posts, so short interviews. So if you have an interesting story to share, get in touch with us, and maybe we'll be calling in a week time to set up a nice interview.